Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello. Dan, I was going to come to you in the style of Dr. Indiana Jones. I'm a penitent man. But instead I come to you as the other Homer J. Simpson. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
What a week.
It's been a bit of I was thinking it's a bit like when you get in your GCSE English and they say, well, you got to compare and contrast these two texts. And
Hamlet and Macbeth.
but you're you're lucky if you get kind of like these two things are, I don't know, is that better? So then they're completely different, or is it?
Compare Newsnight and Keith Lemon.
Yeah.
Don't know why that would be on an English paper. Which one's which?
Yeah.
I would suggest that...
Is our game against Cambridge, is that Newsnight?
Yeah, that's the erudite,
Yeah.
politically astute, well-aware, kind of processing things, seeing what the world's like. That's that.
Yeah.
And then Barrow away is literally someone falls over and gets their head stuck in a bucket.
A chubby little bleached-haired man with a moustache making stupid noises.
Yeah, I don't know who that is in the metaphor.
No,
but
that's
yeah.
who the team are representative of that.
Yes, that's right.
The performance was the kind of like footballing embodiment of that little man and the things he does. Has he been cancelled yet, Keith Lemon?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I have to say, I'm not baffled because this isn't the first time this season this has happened, but I am slightly curious about it all.
I think you're not alone.
So if you haven't caught up, listeners, or if you're listening in the dim and distant future and you wondered just what that season was like, I tell you this, it was weird because we went to Cambridge United.
And yet
strangely reassuring.
Yeah.
So we went to Cambridge United away, not Abbey Road, but the Abbey Stadium on Saturday.
Yeah, where last season we got beat 4-0.
True. And they were top of the table when we went there. They scored a lot of goals. They got the highest scoring goal scorer in the league, Mullins. By the way, the season's not over yet. I know he's scored a lot of goals. They've named a stand after him.
I saw that. Was that for real?
That's for real this season.
I mean,
come on, lads.
even Salford City wouldn't do that, would they?
I mean, it makes me think that Cambridge United haven't had a lot to sing about.
Yeah, but call it the Moor stand before, I mean, call it Max Rushton the stand. I don't know, like,
It does
they
seem
must have something else other than a guy who scored 20 odd goals.
Yeah.
I mean, by that, process, we should name the whole thing the kind of Jamie Curison Park, or, I don't know.
That Manchester City, Aguero's leaving Manchester City, right? And on the day he said that he was leaving, they said he's been such a great servant. By the way, he's the top goal scorer of all time for Manchester City. We're going to put a statue up for him. Like, fair enough. He's been there 10 years. He's now going. He's won them everything.
What if he ends up at Chelsea or something like that?
They put a hat on it.
Word is he doesn't want to leave. Like, doesn't want to leave the country.
Whatever happens to him, like, you can see the rationale. This guy, the season's not even over.
I agree, and that's ridiculous. But it's also ridiculous they're making a statue of Aguero. Just wait. Do it later. What's the rush? Wait till he retires.
Yeah, Tisdale ain't got his statue yet, so...
Exactly. I mean, and if anything, he's done a lot more to deserve it than Hayden Mullins. I know it's not him, but whoever it is. Whatever Mullins.
If Tisdale had a statue, I'd definitely make it chrome dome, bold.
Would you?
Yeah,
He's
so that
famous
then...
for wearing hats. Oh, so you can change the
Change
hat.
the hat.
Genius. I shouldn't have doubted you.
Father Christmas hat. Deer Stalker, throughout the seasons.
Sort of Russian Cossack one he used to wear.
Yeah, that'd be January. Like a summery kind of boater, straw boater.
Federer with a little feather.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Very good. You could even make him nude and then just dress him in various different Ted Baker sort of outfits.
I mean...
Presumably there's some going cheap now.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know if Tisdale's got the body for... No offence, Paul. I don't know if he's quite got the body, although he has got the body language to go naked. He's hardly Michelangelo's David, is he?
Well, he's in good nick.
All right, fair enough.
Let's do it, lads.
Let's do it.
Naked Paul Tisdale statue, please. That's what we want to spend the money on. And no electronic scoreboard, thank you very much. Let's have a poll on this. Would you rather have big electronic scoreboard? We've never done a Twitter poll. Maybe I'll do one.
Yeah.
Big electronic scoreboard.
Yeah.
Or naked Dress yourself Paul Tisdale statue.
For everyone who's listening, I'm now putting my hands together, naked Tisdale statue holding an electronic scoreboard, much like Atlas holds the globe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Good idea.
I know.
Well, it's possible. I think we should. I don't know if we got money for both.
We'll
put it to the listeners. Let's see how we get on.
Let us know, listeners. Anyway, we got distracted. 4-1 at Cambridge. So we went there. They were in absolute top form. I was thinking if we get a draw from this, we'll have done very, very well.
Have they been outside the top 2 all season?
They would definitely been up there a long time, haven't they?
Right. Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Occasionally, maybe drop down to third, but not for long.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we were on a terrible little
run,
aren't we? And even though we kind of had that Salford result in there, still it was a scrappy 1-0. We'd hardly looked anything like the team we were earlier in the season anytime soon, and didn't look like there was any real signs of it coming back. Apart from, one difference being obviously the Divine Ponytail's back.
Yeah. The other one.
The real one. And he did make a difference, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Particularly his pace, I think.
And the focus of the play, I think, as well, getting him on the ball, frightening, isn't he? To defenders, even if he doesn't really end up scoring a huge amount of goals, it's still enough to scare you, and played a part in a few of all the good things we did, really. Some lovely little bits of interplay leading up to the goals. The first one was pretty early on, wasn't it? Was it? I can't remember.
No, it was really early on.
But a really nice Bowman header. We often quite criticise him for his aerial ability.
Yes.
Mainly because we just kind of readdress the balance for everyone making out that he's kind of like, really good in the air, which I still don't think he is. But it was a nice header.
Yeah.
Nice little bit of interplay, and I think Jake Taylor kind of clipped little cross.
That's right. So that was 3 minutes in.
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And then we were playing so well, and you thought, this can't last, but it turns out it could.
So
for a while.
The second goal, a Sparks shot that the keeper probably should have done better on, but still a really good distance shot. But
then a really nice kind of break as well. Do you know what I mean? Again, some nice hold-up play. Bowman involved, and like we were saying about Randell Williams, kind of tearing off down to Sparks' left, and just kind of it's enough. Just doing that, he looked annoyed that he didn't get even when the goal had gone in, that he didn't get a chance to have a shot himself. But it's just enough to kind of distract the defenders and the goalkeeper, probably. So enough to and I thought Jack Sparks had one of his best games for us.
I'd agree
against
with that.
Cambridge.
I'd agree with that. So that was 15 minutes in. We were 2-0 up.
Yeah, and literally, jaws are on the floor, aren't they? We're back. We are back.
Yeah.
That
we were all loving it.
Beginning of the season feeling, and you're just like, here we go.
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant performance. Of course, Cambridge are the kind of team that we've got the potential to put a good performance in against. They're committed to their style of playing, which is one that suits us.
Well, I want to come on to this, in the wider context of the week.
Yeah.
But let's just focus on the good bits first of this game.
And then, so it's half-time 2-0. Excellent. Bowman then proceeded to try and get himself sent off. He didn't quite manage it, but he was really winding that other guy up.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Clipping
Noyle
him.
is his name.
Noyle, yeah. So they both got yellow cards second half. And I was like, this could go wrong here.
But they end up in a bit of a ball on the floor, don't they? And it looks like Bowman sort of takes a bit of a swipe at him, at his face.
We've addressed this before. I'm very pleased he plays for us.
Well, I'm not. I'm not. I just think maybe very pleased is an exaggeration. That's all I mean. That's all I mean.
Well, I'm very pleased he's not on the opponent's team.
I'd hate him.
Yes.
He's almost like I don't know, pantomime villain kind of level.
Yeah, he is. But it doesn't seem to...
Even the way he looks, you think I hate that guy.
Do you remember when Robbie Savage stuck his backside up at the Big Bank in that away game against in that friendly game against Derby?
Yes, I do.
That's pantomime villain. Bowman's like...
Yeah, actual benevolent kind of evil.
Everyone's... He's really Anyway, so...
Sorry, malevolent.
Bowman got his yellow card, and then Cambridge got one back, 2-1. That's 10 minutes into the second half. And I thought, as probably most people did, crumbs. And we soaked up a lot of pressure, didn't we? Taylor makes a very interesting substitution, and one which I did not want to see. Atangana comes on.
Yeah.
And I thought, I think we've done the thing we do where we've defended unnecessarily here. That was 65. So Page goes off, McArdle comes on, Williams goes off, Atangana comes on. And I thought, that is a mistake.
Well, it can never that could never be looked upon as being a positive substitution, really, could it?
Not usually. Shows what I know on this occasion, because then within minutes we're 3-1 up. Collins, I mean, it was quite bizarre actually, wasn't it? But Josh Key, really good. Josh Key also had a good game, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
kind of roving down the right wing, manages to get it across to Collins, who does he take 2 attempts, or does he? On the second attempt, is it already over the line? I don't know. It
sort of hits him as it goes over the line, sort of thing, doesn't it? But a brilliant play for him to get into the box there, and something would be quite nice to see more of. But
that's right. We would like to see more of that. Wouldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, more of that all round, really, the whole thing. But yeah, really nice. And then you think, okay, well, Taylor's kind of gone against what I mean, he's kind of switched it up to kind of hold on, and we've gone on and scored another.
Yep.
But I think at that point, Cambridge is still very much, we know the way they play, and they're still trying to score.
Yep.
Leaving themselves, and that happens sometimes, doesn't it? You leave yourself open at the back, so we nip in, and then what happens with Nige?
Well,
rolling back the years.
It really was, wasn't he? So
unbelievable.
It's the kind of thing that when he starts doing it this season, we're like, don't do that, Nige. You're never going to make up for your mistakes these days.
Oh, I'm all right with... Yeah, true. I mean, it's better that he's doing it there rather than when he tries doing that sort of thing, like just in front of his own penalty box.
True. Really nice play from Atangana. Credit where it's due.
Yeah,
slipped
really in Matt J.
Hour.
And Matt J, kind of like League 2 Player of the Month as well.
Yeah.
So mention that. Gets number 4.
4-1. Marvellous.
I can't remember their goal. Who cares?
He was unmarked, wasn't he? It was a cross that came in and he was unmarked.
Oh, yeah, actually, I kind of do care about that.
Yeah. So it was a bit like, where's everyone gone?
Yeah.
So I understand why he changed the defence around a bit and McArdle came on and all that stuff.
Sorry, yeah, of course, this is at 2-1,
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. And, against the top of the league, free scoring, it's not mad or cowardly to try and defend a 2-0 lead or even a 2-1 lead. That's fine. Especially given how long there was left. So
and it worked.
It worked brilliantly, yeah. 4-1. People are just, everyone's giddy again, aren't they? And then and all the other results are aren't too bad either around us. There's plenty of people dropping points. Looking good, isn't it?
Looking good.
And you think, okay, you got Williams back. He's starting to find a bit of form and kind of starting to affect games after, when we've seen him the last couple of times when he's come on, obviously he looked very much like he'd just come back from a long injury, kind of doing, heavy touches and sort of poor decisions. The usual thing you'd expect from someone who's been out for a long time, but then we saw him here and he's sort of like, okay, good. He's back to kind of, really affecting the game in a positive way. And then...
So, all the players said, and Taylor said as well, this doesn't really mean that much if we don't back it up on Tuesday. Barrow away. What's it called? Progressive Solicitors Stadium or something like that? Thing number one, are solicitors really that progressive? Thing number two, is that a stadium?
I think it's more of an industrial estate.
I think they need a solicitor to make people call it a stadium, because that is one stand and a field.
Very strange setup. It looked like a kind of like at one point there's a bit of waste ground where you might see a kind of action set piece go down in a police drama.
Yes.
Yes. And then at the other end there's like a big lake.
Yes.
On one side there appears to just be a big warehouse, literally just behind the goal instead of a stand.
Yes. Where
the players all go in there. And then they do. I can't see from where the camera is. I don't know what's there. It could be anything. There's no park, like cinema.
I think it's a park. I think the cameraman's perched at the top of the kids' slide. Honestly, did you see there was a five-a-side match going on behind the warehouse at the same time?
Yeah.
It was.
They probably would have beat us too. Weird old place, and it's kind of like, wow, this is like, But then, that's what we forget. That's what some stadiums are like in the kind of National League, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You got that, then you got kind of playing more as well, But, Yeah, it was strange.
So
I don't think we can blame. I don't even think Matt Taylor tried to blame the ground, did he?
blame the ground. No,
I was put off by the lake.
it makes me wonder why we didn't sail to the. We live in a coastal part of the world. They live in a coastal part
You
of
have
the
to
world.
go all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
Which way would you go?
You'd go round past Penzance, wouldn't you? No, you
Then
wouldn't.
which
What am I
way?
talking about? You'd catch the bus to Bude, wouldn't you? And then you'd sail up the Irish Sea.
What, then all the way... Oh, is it on the
West.
West
It's northwest.
coast?
It's the Lake District, isn't it, Barrow?
Okay, there. Yeah, that's the way you go, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it's worth saying about Barrow. They just drawn with Carlisle, local derby, on the Saturday. They've picked up as the season's gone on.
I think they're four games unbeaten now, but it's no excuse.
No.
But, yeah, good. We just beaten top of the league 4-1.
I know.
If you want to talk about form.
What I'm
Also
saying
about
is,
Barrow, is they've got the largest offshore wind farm in the UK.
There was certainly a lot of hot air in the post-match interviews. So the first half the first half an hour was dire, wasn't it? So we lined up with a kind of...
Oh, my word.
I mean, what formation is this? I think... What do you think?
It's hard to say. I originally thought it was just the classic defensive mode, 3-5-2, 5-3-2, but I think possibly maybe it's a sort of bit of more of a 4-3-3 with Williams and Matt J kind of either side of Bowman. I'm not really sure.
No, it wasn't very clear. And it was hard to ascertain because we spent the first half an hour either headering it or if it inevitably got back to Sweeney or Parks, they would punt it. I mean, it was, I don't know, 50 of those.
Yeah. Piers Sweeney is capable of like one of those kind of like laser precision raking long balls every now and then.
Yeah.
If you let him do it 50 times, 45 of them are going to go absolutely nowhere.
And...
He's not Danny Blanchflower.
Good reference. And they had 10 men behind the ball. So it's not just got to be precise.
And what men?
And what men. Carved from Cumbrian rock. Some of them, look, they walked up out of that lake, didn't they? That's why they sleep at night.
Did.
But that's why they got that great big warehouse for like reconditioning to get them into like land mode.
It's not so much a gym as a workshop.
Yeah.
Like forge.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So Sweeney was doing that, and I was like, "This is dire." It was half an hour of dire, wasn't it? We then started to get Williams and Key on the ball a bit more, didn't we?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it was like first half an hour. Yeah, you're right. It's terrible. Then suddenly it sort of we found a way into the game, didn't we? We managed to get hold of the ball a bit because I know. Fair's fair. I don't think I heard anyone criticise anyone of the management criticise the pitch this time round.
No, because it was frozen off last time. That's worth saying.
Yeah. Because it wasn't actually that bad. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but there's grass on it. But you could see the ball was running fairly well.
Yeah,
and we were able to play. I think there's a nice little bit of me. I was really thinking like this is, and going on from the Cambridge match, I was like, this link-up play here from. We haven't seen too much of really, even over the years of Williams and Matt J. And I was like, they're on some kind of, they got a good understanding here, and it makes sense. They're both players who like a little bit of a flick and Matt J. If anything, one of the criticisms I have from this year is too many back heels, or doing back heels when it's not at the kind of inappropriate times. But they were combining really well, and we had I think. A shot. Matt J had this shot on goal, weak in the end, but it was a lovely little bit of play leading up to it. And that was about the end of our attacking for the rest of the entire game.
So we had a couple of last 10 minutes of the first half. Williams and one of the centre-backs. Williams was obviously giving him, not problems because the guy was dealing with it, but you felt like if we could carry on in this vein, something will land. Jay will play a better ball, We
were getting a lot of second balls as well in that little period towards the end of the first half, and that against a team like that, that's you need those. That's what you need to be doing,
Yeah.
You got to win those second balls, so crucial because they will just block everything out.
So that happened, and then. It felt like, okay, we're growing into this. We've worked out a better way to play. I'm not sure what this formation is, but we've worked it out. And then So we had 1 minute of added time, and I know it's a minimum, I know all that stuff, but with about 46 minutes and 10 seconds, punted up to their striker, Josh Key kind of makes a bit of a meal of it.
I mean, it's in their half when that happens, you know?
Yeah.
When it bounces over Josh Key's head, it's in their half. He's kind of come forward to get it. And then, they kind of charge on to us. And then it looks like Tom Parks sort of fouls Guy, and it ends up at the feet of one of the other Barrow players who just kind of...
Barrow monsters.
Barrow things.
Yeah.
And he slots it in.
Yeah. Yeah. And Anderson could have done better.
I think he probably could have done, yeah.
But he kind of stopped.
But so could a lot of people.
So could a lot of people.
So could Sweeney, so could Parks, so could Josh Key, so could whoever else was playing.
Very, very, very disappointing. And we know for a fact that teams like Barrow, and this is not, I know it's our first time playing them this season, but it's not our first time playing teams like them.
We know it was. I mean, you knew instantly, didn't you? Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be a nightmare second half.
From watching us play this season for the last few years, once you go behind against a team like that, playing that way, we got no chance. We have no chance, you know. And and we didn't have a chance for the rest of the game.
No, so half-time came and went.
Very frustrating.
And then it was just that, wasn't it? It was just they sat 10 men behind the ball. They fell over at every opportunity. They got their great big massive stupid towel out at every opportunity.
That was bizarre.
What, the size of it?
It looked like one of those extra large bath towels you get in a travel lodge that have got like... They've got like a little chip in the label so you can't nick them.
Because they're that good. They're that large.
Yeah, because people are like, I wouldn't mind having this enormous towel in my house. And then presumably Barrow's fullback's like, I wouldn't mind having this enormous towel to dry the ball on so I can long throws in.
Got it from the travel lodge in Exeter
like
Services when they were down. They haven't been down yet, have they? Yeah, madness. But they really, you know, as we knew they would. Even at one point, the subs in the stand lost the ball.
I mean, I don't even.
I
wasn't even annoyed with them.
No,
I was only annoyed at us because that's just how they play. We know it's not like some surprise. Oh, what? Barrow are going to sort of spoil this second half so they can hold on to the lead, are they? Of course they are.
So then we had 45 minutes of that. I was well aware there was some absolute premium Champions League football going on the other channel when I was watching this.
Oh.
I was literally... put that ball on that lake and it would have been smoother going, it was insane. And then what?
We made some. I just kept basically throwing anyone on. Try this. Put him on. Let's put Fisher on for a bit. See what he can do. Seymour. Oh, here's the best bit. The best bit of the whole game was like the talking about that brilliant link-up play between Williams and Jay. So Matt Jay takes this quick free kick, tries to play in Randall Williams, just boots it straight off for a corner. It's like it's the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen. And then immediately Taylor subs them both off.
I
kind of think
fair enough.
You're asking for it, but presumably they worked at that. They work at these kind of things.
Jay kicked it at Williams's heels as he was jogging. I don't even blame Williams.
No, yeah, it wasn't even Williams' fault. But yeah, it's like
that was pathetic, wasn't it? And that was just par for the course. Anyway, then Barrow scored a second with about a minute to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they're tired and whatnot, but when you're 1-0 down, even if they have just done that, do you want to see your top goal scorer, player of the month, top assist maker, and one of your best players, wanted by kind of like championship clubs, only here for a few more games, winger, let's bring them both off. Well, there's one for the fans, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's a change for... And then, I don't know who you even brought on for it. It's probably McCardle for Jay or something. And I can't even remember.
Go and mix it up a bit, all right?
Yeah.
So Seymour came on for Williams, and Page came on for Jay.
I mean,
okay.
Poor old Ben Seymour. This kid is having his reputation absolutely battered.
Yeah.
And is it really his fault? He's getting brought on when we're 1-0 down against Barrow away.
I know.
Playing in a B&Q car park in the Lake District.
Do you know what?
And he's being and people are going, I don't think Ben Seymour's up to it. It's who would be?
Yeah. that was the game to bring Fisher on. Bring Fisher on with half an hour to go. Because at least, like...
They brought Fisher on with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, but at least fight fire with fire. Now...
The problem... I think, in a way, fighting fire with fire is our problem. It's like... We keep doing... It's our kind of style. It always seems to be, what are our opponents doing? Let's do that.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for ages. It's sort of like... And I think this is kind of what... Wayne Rooney's been doing at Derby recently as well, where it's just like doing it game by game, and it's just like, this is not the way. No team could do this. It's not practical. Like, you can't be all things. You can't just be like, oh, this week we're playing against a big old rough and tumble Barrow side. We'll be that.
Yeah.
And then next week we're playing against Cambridge, who are kind of like get the ball on the floor, kind of play the game, and sometimes it works. Cambridge didn't press us. They didn't sit behind the ball, and we had a good day, so we were able to like do our thing and win. But against I find it so strange.
That was that. We got an equaliser, didn't we? Sweeney. No, sorry, we got a consolation. Sweeney, I think the 91st minute or something. Oh, it was all over by then. Very disappointing. Taylor had some things to say. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Matt Taylor came out in the post-match interview, and said there was some kind of tiredness and kind of blamed players for not being willing to run. Now, I think what he's talking about there is that first half an hour. Because obviously if we score in the first half an hour, completely different game. If we score 2, game over. And Sweeney and Parks were just punting it. And I wonder if the running is either them or the players Taylor doesn't feel like are giving the options. Now,
Does he mean we need to run onto the long balls?
Surely not. I don't believe he can mean that, because players will challenge him for those long balls. But this comes down to the squad. So, last week we got really kind of animated about the lack of options in the squad. And again, that just shows it up today. Ben Seymour has to come on. We've got Page and we've got Caprice, and that's fine. But we can't take Archie Collins off. It's basically impossible to take Archie Collins off. If we take Taylor off, it really slows us down. Bowman never comes off. Jay, yeah, okay, you can switch it around a bit, but really,
and he's one of the only people that actually make anything happen.
So
you kind of don't want him to take him off, even though he's
right.
one of the only people that you actually can, because he's only one of the only players we've got kind of a replacement for.
And then Wilmot's injured. So Wilmot, you might change for Williams or Taylor maybe, but we're very, very light, aren't we? So it just feels like these are problems of our own making. One, because we set up in weird ways against these kind of... I don't want to be really insulting, because Barrow are just trying to stay in the league, are they? But they play a certain kind of one-dimensional football, and we set up in a way against them that doesn't work.
I know we've got a small budget and all this kind of stuff and a small squad. Regardless of all that, we've seen the performances this season with that squad and on that budget, and based on that, we should be doing better against a team like Barrow, who based on again this season. And I don't think that's kind of a controversial take. Do you know what I mean? Particularly like. And it's not something we should expect. Well, we can't expect to be getting points where at Barrow.
I mean, some people were like, and this is true, if Barrow's set up a certain way, you're going to have limited options about how you get the ball in the box. Right? Fine. We know that. They're going to stop certain things very easily. But those minutes 35 to 45, we showed that actually we had ways of working with that.
That's the thing that's frustrating, and
start like that, as we did against Cambridge.
Yeah,
and we knew Randall Williams would only have an hour. Like, I don't think, as disastrous as that free kick was.
No, they were coming off for other reasons. I know it wasn't. I know he didn't pull them off for that free kick, but
we know Williams' pace is something that's actually, if you haven't got Joel Randall and you haven't got Randall Williams, we really lack something. And I think they're both really good players, obviously, but part of that is their pace. We know we're going to get 45 minutes of real good running out of Randall Williams, so front load that game. Think, we got to be at half. We really want to be at half time ahead.
Yeah.
So it's
because the problem is in that situation is we know that we can, but we know full well that we are kind of very capable, if not likely, of making mistakes at the back which lead to goals. And we know that to be true based on all the games that's happened in this season. So knowing that to be the case, and knowing that if we do concede one, we're in trouble against a team like Barrow because they're just going to sit off. You've got to be much more assertive about taking the lead.
Yeah.
And not kind of just try and match Barrow in their kind of like in an aerial duel. It's just, I don't see how it makes any sense.
No, indeed. Like, if you're in a race, let's carry this metaphor to its absolute conclusion. You're in a race, and one of you's pushing a wheelbarrow, and one of you's driving an Aston Martin. You can guess which one's which. You don't get out of your Aston Martin and go like, oh yeah, fair enough, I'll get a wheelbarrow too. Like, they've chosen to buy those players. Like, we don't have to lower ourselves to their level. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, some people prefer, you can make a case for the wheelbarrow being, at least it's environmentally friendly.
True. That's very true. So that, friends,
you'd look a bit flash in Aston Martin as well, wouldn't you? Do you mean? Would you drive around an Aston Martin?
No, I wouldn't. No.
Or you'd feel like a bit of a...
you'd feel like a turnip.
Pranny, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, that's 6 games left in the season. And because, I guess if before those 2 games they said we can have 3 points, you'd take it, wouldn't you? We'd assume that the 3 points would come from somewhere else.
That's a good point, yeah.
But obviously it's very frustrating to get the 3 points first.
That is a way of looking at it, yeah. Okay.
And I'll tell you why I remain optimistic, or, maybe naively so. But there's 6 games left for us, okay? Some of the teams above us have got 5 games left. We sit in 8th. Below us, it's quite close. So in 9th, Carlisle, 1 point behind us. In 10th, Salford, 2 points behind us. In 11th, Leyton Orient, 2 points behind us, but they played a game more. Bradford in 12th. They've got 2 points less than us. They played the same games. So we have to watch what's coming behind us. I know.
12th place at 2 points behind us.
Yeah. It's really close.
Yeah, but we were talking about being close at the other end.
I know. It's really
a few weeks ago, and now it's like, we're close to mid-table.
I know.
We joked about getting relegated. Is it mathematically impossible?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So we sit in 8th. Above us, Forest Green and Newport both have 2 points more than us. Above them, Tranmere have played a game more. They're 5 points ahead of us. Above them, Morecambe, they've played a game more. They're 6 points ahead of us. In 3rd place, Bolton, 70 points. So there's 10 points between us and Bolton.
We can forget about the rest.
Automatics is gone.
We can forget about all that.
We can forget about all that.
Like with the last few seasons, I think we're going to be... if you look on the bright side of things, we could be fighting for the last couple of playoff places.
Yeah, we could.
But that's being optimistic.
Well,
the other thing is, we could be in a couple before the season's even over. We could be we could be out of contention.
Oh, of course, that's true. I'll tell you why playoffs are totally possible. It's because of our fixtures. So we play Southend on.
I'll let you finish the point, obviously, but. If it's based on fixtures,
yes.
We've just seen that we beat Cambridge and lost to Barrow. So surely whoever we're playing at this point is largely irrelevant.
No, I'll tell you why it's not.
Okay.
You're very correct to say that. We play Southend on Saturday. I take your point entirely.
Phil Brown was at the game.
Phil Brown's
He drove
back.
all the way up to Barrow.
From Southend?
Well, wherever he was.
Flipping heck. Bizarre.
In his cravat.
I know. He's trying to embody Tisdale, isn't he? You've been watching Tisdale's YouTube videos.
That's embarrassing, though, isn't it?
What?
Paul Tisdale was like doing that, like wearing the cravat and sort of like dressing like that when he's in his 40s. Phil Brown has come along and sort of copying a man 15 years his junior who doesn't even wear that kind of stuff anymore. He looks like an antiques dealer.
He does look like an antiques dealer. And kind of looks like an antique as well, kind of a varnished,
Well, he loves a trip to console, doesn't he?
He does. Here's why it's important, though, our fixtures, because then on Tuesday we play Forest Green, directly above us, 2 points ahead.
Managerless.
Managerless.
Forest Green.
Then we play Newport, 2 points above us. So if we get results there, we could well find ourselves in the playoffs in a week's time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, playoffs are not out of the question. I'll tell you why that's also important.
We could lose all of them and be like halfway down the table.
Yeah, of course we could. And that's obviously more likely. I'll also tell you why that's important.
I think they're both as likely as each other.
I don't dread playoffs. I'll tell you why. We might get Tranmere. I wouldn't want to play them. We might get Morecambe. I wouldn't want to play them. But we might get Forest Green or Newport. I wouldn't mind playing them. I think the
We have particularly good records against either of
No,
those two
I know we
teams.
don't. But the team that turned up against Cambridge would happily play and beat Forest Green or Newport. The team that turned up against Barrow would get thumped by both Morecambe and Tranmere. So,
Well, we beat Tranmere 5-0.
yeah, we did. That's true. We also.
And then what was the return?
Yeah,
1-0?
and we really struggled, didn't we? Because they were.
We did struggle, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could. I remain.
I'm very hypothetical here, of course.
And you can only ever be hypothetical. Obviously, we're just speculating. But I think the last week has gone to show. I mean, who the hell knows?
Who the hell knows? And
I would think, game to game, who knows? Ultimately, the outcome seems to be actually very predictable.
yes,
Who's going to go up? Who's going to go down? Who's going to be in the playoffs? You can pretty much gauge it pretty fairly accurately year on year, and for us specifically, if you just say playoffs and lose every year on your bet or your predictions, then you wouldn't be far wrong.
but this is the frustration, isn't it? Cambridge, I don't think anyone particularly called going up, but obviously they bought well in the summer. But Cheltenham, they had a more disastrous playoffs than we did last year, and they obviously thought to themselves, we're not doing that again. And I think that we're very similar teams, similar town, similar budget. We've got probably a bigger fan base, similar manager, lots of their players have played for us. We've moved them on. That's the frustration.
Well, they've got I suppose the difference is they do actually have a kind of like a way that they play. We do this.
Yes.
Is what we do, and they've bought accordingly. Whereas I think we are trying to kind of. I've thought this for a while, and sometimes it works pretty well. But we're trying to kind of be all things to all people, trying to be like strong and robust and big and but also good at football and playing on the ground and also fast and and I don't know if you end up being kind of jack of all trades, master of none, kind of thing. And we're a little bit like that, I think, and that's why you see inconsistent results.
Yeah.
Whereas Cheltenham, maybe they might not win every game, but they'll kind of lose doing the thing that they do.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is the current state of affairs. I mean, I don't know what I'll feel tomorrow, let alone next week.
No.
We've got to go to Southend and get a result, obviously. I mean, we essentially can't lose any more games.
Not if we want to get any chance of going up at all, yeah. What do you think of a lot of people sort of talking about, we'll know more at the end of the season and now, whatever, but I mean, people are starting to lose trust a little bit in the manager. Some people even suggesting that maybe we should bring in old Mark Cooper. Now, I can think of many worse things than that, and I think you're mental if you think that would be a better option. But some people do think that, and it could happen.
I think that would be a bad move. He's notoriously prickly, isn't he? And I think
that's being kind as well.
Yeah.
He's a knob.
I think a prickly knob. I think Taylor. I don't know where the issue is. I think Taylor's obviously set the team up to play a certain way at various times, and I think he's made errors in that. And I think 3 seasons into his professional career, especially what's happened to us since Christmas, it's a poor indictment on him.
Has he not quite worked out what his kind of thing is yet? And is that what it is?
Yes, but it's also a kind of. I just think I think last night. I think this week is the whole thing in a nutshell, isn't it? Fantastic, disastrous.
It's a failure to capitalise, isn't it? That.
Yeah, that's right.
On a very basic level, we got 1-4-1 against top of the league, and we can't then use that as any kind of springboard to even come up with a halfway decent performance. Let alone we could. I'm not saying you couldn't lose that the next game to Barrow, but it's just to lose it in that manner with just sort of like with an absolute whimper.
Yeah.
You know?
Why after 15 minutes, Sweeney and Parks weren't being given an absolute earful, or whoever he expected to collect the ball off them?
Well, you remember a couple of weeks ago when we started off, we admitted we were wrong here, that we started off in this 4-4-2 and we couldn't get a touch.
Yeah.
Can't remember who it was against, and he switched it early on.
Yeah.
Why then does it not work the other way around? You've got to be brave in those situations.
Indeed. So I think that's where Taylor's wrong. Or showing his inexperience, or showing his...
Maybe just that's it. He is a new manager. Maybe he hasn't carved out his kind of his position yet as like what his teams do. But I don't know. Maybe it's nonsense. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I think it seems to me. I mean, we're just amateur observers of the thing, like everyone, like we all are, who listen to this or who watch Exeter City, pretty much. But it seems to me the obvious thing that we lack, and the thing we do really well with, is pace, right? So we've got, like we've always said, we've got a strong spine of players who can... Bowman, hold it up. Collins, he can take a touch and he can move it in the right direction and he can win the ball back. Taylor...
But I think that's an area where... Isn't that not a bit of a... Collins is such a talented player... But he's not the strongest. He's pretty good at breaking up the play, but it's Taylor who makes all the challenges. Could we not do with something sort of like a young version of Nigel Ghana or something, and then you can afford to kind of like let Archie Collins be a bit more, like express himself a bit. We've not seen him come on as an attacking player much, you know, and like I think he's got potential to be that, you know, and it's like...
Yeah, maybe that's true. But I do
think it's a bit of a waste of a talent, you know.
I think I agree with you, but I think Taylor's built the thing on that spine... I don't even think it's really the centre-backs. I think the centre-backs do a job, but I don't think they're our identity.
No, it's more... Well, if you look at who's guaranteed starters, it's only Bowman, Collins and Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think then pace works well off them. So Key, Page, Caprice, they're all quick players.
Yeah, and Bowman with his back to goal in that setup.
Yeah.
It does work. Where it goes wrong, like you're saying, is when you bypass that midfield by punting it up.
Yes. So that's madness. But then I also think there's just no pace on the bench. Like, there's no pace anywhere. So Randall and Williams are injured.
I mean, you've got Caprice, who's got a bit. Maybe.
Yeah, but all right. So in terms of attacking pace, like...
And actually, do you know what? When Caprice came on, he put a couple of good balls into the box last night, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's the answer to any of our questions particularly, but just, you know...
I just think we've got actually some very similar players who are less good than our starting players. So if it's not working with Bowman... Why on earth would you bring on Fisher, right? If it's, you know, like, I just don't think that makes sense. If it's not working, I think Wilmot was probably a sensible loan signing. I don't think he'll be with us next year, probably.
No. It's a slightly different option, isn't he? And definitely on paper he is. Whether he does that on the pitch or not is another thing. But, you know, like, he's capable of doing it. But it's not a pace option, is it? You know, it's a different option.
I just wonder if it would have been, like we said before... Either putting your hand in your pocket or, more likely, getting a few loanees in who are just fast. They may not be the finished article, but you just put a fast player on against a fairly one-dimensional Barrow team, and it could cause them some problems.
I mean, at the very least, it's a cat amongst the pigeons. Like I was saying, with even a talented player like Williams can impact a goal without even touching the ball, you know, as we saw on Saturday.
So that kind of thing could then make a difference. And then we know that Jay and Taylor and Collins and Bowman are actually really good in those kind of chaotic situations, particularly Matt Jay, who, of course, has been our best player of the season, who, of course, has been, you know, the top scorer, etc., etc. So that's why I think the biggest mistake is, because I think sometimes I feel like Taylor doesn't feel like he's got other options.
Yeah.
And then whether that's him or whether that's the board, I don't know. So I would definitely not. I'm not someone who wants to see anyone get sacked.
Oh no, and I really want him to stay on. I want to be a team that gives like players and management time to kind of develop and stuff. And I think that's definitely what's going on. And also, this is a weird season. You know, we've had to cut the spending pretty significantly.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's scope for using some of the money to not only... Let's look at this point. We have got a little bit of cash at the moment. This doesn't come along. These sort of things don't come along all the time. We've got a good academy, but we can't rely on the fact that we're definitely going to keep getting big chunks of money in for them. You know,
And Watkins was kind of
the likelihood of this young lad, Sonny Cox, he's going to go for nothing, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll get a little bit of compensation for him, but it's not going to be like Watkins level. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's, if Archie Collins decides to kick on, that's where maybe we get the next big payout from, or Joel Randall or someone like that who goes on to play in the first team a bit first, develops, and then goes on to be like the Watkins model. But so cash could keep coming in that way, but maybe we need to add to the coaching team. I'm sure Matt Taylor would appreciate that, being able to have kind of like, because we had people when they left, and but it'd be better to, could we not strengthen in that, have more? We know we haven't really got any attacking minded kind of. As in what I mean is Taylor as a footballer was a defender, and like none of them are. There's no kind of strikers or ex-strikers on the team.
No.
Maybe it'd be worth expanding that staff, and I think that would probably help Taylor. I don't think the answer at all is get rid of him, get someone else in.
No,
definitely not. And
that would be a short-term fix, even if it works.
Especially not Mark Cooper.
No,
get lost.
Yeah, I agree entirely, and I think. Also, as well, Exeter City have done a very good job at selling to players and to staff. This is a positive place to be. So you're not easily sacked, which I think is a good thing. But also there's a real kind of obvious route. So it would not surprise me at all if someone like Jake Taylor went into coaching at City and then was a manager in the next 10 years. Right? Like, I think you can see a route there.
Yeah, it could happen, yeah.
And so you sell that to any future coaches coming in, and look at what, like not Mark Cooper, he's gone. Dale Vince has made this thing about like he'd like a female manager at Forest Green. And I can see why he's saying that. Obviously, they're a kind of progressive club. And people would want to buy into that. Like, we should be looking at that stuff as well. Like, it's really hard for certain social groups. Obviously, it's stupid to call women's a social group, but you know what I mean, like underrepresented groups. Why aren't we saying to those people, like Exeter City is the platform for you, so we can get real high-class black and Asian minority coaches who aren't giving the opportunities elsewhere? Like, that's what we can do because we understand and we've got those kind of forward-thinking...
Yeah, I think we're geographically a bit of a disadvantage.
We are, but so then we build on what we've got, which is a really positive... atmosphere for young coaches coming in and getting themselves a career.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're right too. I think that's where we want to strengthen. We're never going to be able to buy, we've got lucky with people like Stockley, but those things aren't the usual. We don't want to waste all our money or speculate all our money on the next big striker. We want to use our money in other ways, don't we?
Yeah, and maybe we can do a bit of both. I'm not saying we don't put any money into the playing staff. We need them.
But we'd be insane to do the Salford. Here's $2 million for someone that may not work out.
Oh, I mean, look at them. Look at the state of it. I mean, I'd much rather just. You got to think of I think we were kind of like talking last week. We don't want to be too kind of just like. Oh, the club's running well, and it's a great community, and who cares about the pitch? I don't want to kind of like completely backtrack on that at all. I mean, I still think that we need to expect more from the football too. But I just think this is what I mean is this is a time when we have got a little bit of cash. Maybe we can do a bit of both.
Absolutely. If you've got any thoughts on this, we always pleased to get your correspondence, and thanks for the emails and stuff we've had. You can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. We're on Twitter @BigBankPod. We're on email bigbankpod@gmail.com, and we're on Facebook as well. You can find us and send us delightful memes. We love a meme.
Do we?
I do.
All right. Send them to you.
Send them to me.
I've seen enough memes.
All right, fair enough.
We got some stickers.
We've got some stickers.
First time in how long are we doing this? 2 years? A bit longer?
This is our 3rd year.
Ooh. We've now got some stickers. I don't know what we're going to do with them. I don't think you can have them, listener.
Well, we can't get...
You can, but we can't... I'm not posting them out.
We can't get them through the sound waves.
What I mean is look out for them.
Look out for them.
And...
Stick them on the social media when you see them. People love that stuff.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, tag us.
I think next season maybe we'll hold them off till we're allowed back in the grounds, and then we'll sort of dish them out there or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not personally, but
no, we won't be like Father Christmas.
Leave them somewhere you can find them, but they look cool.
Yeah, I think you've said enough. I think people need to look out for them, don't they? And
watch out. Yeah,
watch out. Stickers. We haven't got anything else, so don't
Not
ask.
Yet, no, but this could be the beginning of the. We talked about the tag action figure.
Yeah,
I know a guy.
I'd like to see a kind of Tisdale dress-up statue, like we were talking about, but like in miniature.
Okay, yeah.
buy a series
like
of
little
hats.
paperweight or something.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Paul Tisdale's head paperweight.
Doing a sign, a rude sign at me.
Yeah.
Gesturing in my direction.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Thanks very much for listening. As always, my name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.